Ayan. So, it's Mother's Day, and some may think na, our topic is very ironic. Kasi we're going to talk about feminism today. Pero, actually, even though we're going to talk about feminism and try to debunk it, hindi po nangangahulugan na ang Bible is against women. Okay, I just want to make it clear that the Bible is not against women. In fact, the Bible is protective of women. It upholds women. It empowers women, and it values women. Now, what is feminism? Kasi we live in a time na it's very feministic. The culture is very feministic. Kung mapapansin ninyo, sa mga tahanan ngayon, the men are silenced. Diba? And kung sino yung mas maingay, siya yung mas may power. Ganun na ngayon, So we live in a time na very feministic. Hindi na siya yung parang dati na sinasabi nila na, men are abusive like this. Before, there's truth to that. May mga abuses na nangyari sa mga kababaihan. However, the way of the women, nakuha na nila yung kanilang hinahanap, yung pinaglalaban nila nung unang panahon. Okay, we will see and learn that today. And today, we will be talking about biblical womanhood, mainly. And manhood. Kasi we cannot, according nga sa scriptures na binasa natin kanina, the woman cannot be apart from the man. You cannot have a definition of a woman apart from the man. Okay? So, in the biblical context, hindi po magkaibang entity yung man sa woman. In fact, ang calling natin is to be one. Yung husband and wife, they will be one. Okay? So, the title is What's Wrong with Feminism? This is an echo of the topic na ginawa ko po sa Yes Camp. Okay, so please bear with me sa discussion today. Oh, what happened here? Na-delete ko yung slides. Ulitin ko lang po. Ayan. Okay, so let's start here. We live in God's world. Sabi nga sa song natin kayo sa Kingdom Song, you are the God of the world. So God reigns, Jesus reigns, He owns this world, He created this world. Sabi nga sa Colossians 1, for by Him all things were created, referring to Jesus, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through Him and for Him. It's for the purposes of God. Si God mismo yung nag-design, siya yung gumawa, siya yung nagbigay ng meaning to all things that He has created. Okay? So what are the things that exist in the world? Well, you see the creation, the physical creation. There are also invisible things. Diba? Like yung ating thoughts, yung ating marriage, halimbawa, is a concept. And that concept even is created by God. Siya yung nag-determine ng unang marriage. Diba? Si Adam and Eve, sila yung unang kinasal. So, all these things, according sa purposes ni God, they have meaning. Si God ang nag-determine ng order, siya ang nag-determine ng meaning, siya ang nag-determine ng purpose of all things. We cannot know reality apart from God. So, there's no truth, no knowledge, no wisdom, no meaning, no life apart from Him. So in order for us to know the truth, we have to know God. In order for us to know true knowledge, we have to know God. In order for us to have true wisdom, we have to know God. True meaning, we have to know God. And true life, we have to know God. He is the truth. There's no anything apart from Him. And as we know it, the world has been corrupted by sin. Diba? Nag-fall ang man. So, Adam and Eve, sila sa may garden, nagkasala sila. They ate of the forbidden fruit. And everything in the creation with respect to mankind has been corrupted. So, according to my scriptures, death has reigned. Nag-reigned ang kamatayan. Work has become difficult. Diba? Yung lupa daw is magiging hard na for the man. Animals have been hostile to mankind. Childbearing has become more painful. Diba? So the curse na dala-dala ng sin ng man has affected even the creation. Yung order na corrupt, yung meaning na corrupt, yung purpose of things na corrupt. We have lost order, meaning, and purpose because of sin. And now people don't know anymore. What is the purpose of things? What is the meaning of things? Diba? What is the right order of things? Because mankind lost order and meaning and purpose due to sin, we now fail to define a lot of things. Ngayon, if we're going to ask the question, what is a man? Do we even know what is a man? Do we even know what is a woman? Do we even know what a person is? Diba? We are even debating kung yung baby sa womb is a clump of cells, a parasite, or a human being. Diba? What is a mother? If you cannot define what a woman is, what is a mother? What is a sister? If you cannot define what a man is, what is a father? What is a brother? What is an uncle? What is a grandfather? You lose the meaning of things, you lose the definition of every other thing that relates to it. Diba? Now, what is love? What is marriage? If you cannot define what a man and a woman is, you cannot define love, marriage, and family. Diba? What is a union in Christ? We don't know anymore. What is a home? What is a parent? What are children for? This is the world we live in. A world without meaning. A world that has lost all order, all meaning, all purpose. And yet, they brag na parang meron silang karunungan na dala-dala. Di ba? Yung sinasabi sa Romans 1. They claim to be wise, but they become fools. That's the world we live in. You know? It's a fallen world. But the good news is, God did not leave the world this way. We all know the gospel. He has given us Jesus Christ, and in Him all things will be made new. There's restoration of all things. All things shall be restored. All order, all meaning, all purpose. Kanino lang natin makikita yung tamang purpose, meaning, and order? Kay Jesus. If we know Jesus, we know the Father, sabi ng Bible. So if we know Him, we will have all these things restored. Truth, knowledge, wisdom, meaning, purpose, everything else, even life. Okay? It's only through Jesus. That's why it's important that sa churches, Jesus is preached. We preach Christ crucified because there's no other hope apart from Christ. Walang restoration of anything. Walang goodness in anything apart from Christ. Okay? By His grace, He transforms hearts and washes us with His word, that we may continuously be renewed unto glory. We will see the restoration of all things once na-reveal tayo ni Jesus to the Father. And here are the sons that you have given me. And the whole creation, sabi ng Bible, is yearning for that moment. It's waiting. It's groaning na hopefully mangyari na yung time na yon. It's waiting for glory. Mare-restore din yung creation. And all of these things, it will have meaning in Jesus. So I'd like to begin the presentations of feminism with the same question that I raised during the Yes Camp. What is the essence of being a woman? Let's have a pageant portion. Okay? What is the essence? Do sa mga old ladies, what is the essence of being a woman? Ano ang sagot dyan? What do you think? Mamay? Actually, sa different generations, iba-iba ang sagot dyan. Ano? For the oldies, they say, the essence of being a woman is to be a mother. Diba? To be a wife and a mother. Yan, sa mga oldies yon. And then, pag medyo bata-bata, sa mga generation na namin, ganyan, ang sagot is to be a career woman. That's the essence of being a woman, a career woman. And then, yung mga bata na ngayon, what is a woman? Yun ang tanong nila. Yun ang sagot nila. What is the essence of being a woman? What is a woman? Kasi hindi na nila alam. So, unti-unti na-degrade ang knowledge na wala na yung meaning of womanhood. And it's hard, Talking about feminism, it's hard. They're fighting for women's rights, but they don't even know what a woman is. How can you fight for the rights of women if you don't know what a woman is? Is it possible? Na ipaglaban ko yung karapatan ng anak ko na hindi ko naman alam na anak ko siya? It's not possible. It's not logical. So, we will see ano yung tamang sagot doon at the end of our topic today. So let's talk about the definition of feminism. Feminism is a social movement and a theoretical framework that advocates the dismantling of oppressive systems and structures to achieve gender equality and challenge traditional gender norms. Kasi may mga certain expectations sa mga kababaihan na pag babae, dapat ganito ka, dapat ganito, dapat ganyan. So ang sinasabi ng feminism, no, we should break away from that. Women can be something else outside the definition na ginawa ng culture sa mga kababaihan. Okay? So yung babae na dapat sana proper and neat and meek and humble na parang timid. Hindi, ang babae pwede rin siya maging loud and maging proud and maging, and stuff like that. Kung yung babae, dati ang tingin is mahina sila, hindi. Dapat ang babae, pwede rin sila maging malakas. Okay? And they try to achieve equality. Kasi daw merong tinatawag na imbalance sa view ng women. Pag lalaki, sila yung mas binibigyan ng halaga. Yung mga babae, wala silang worth. Religiously speaking, politically speaking, culturally speaking, ganun daw ang views sa mga kababaihan. So they say, the oppressive systems na nagbibigay ng possibility for this, that has to be dismantled. I-destroy. Tanggalin dapat yon, okay? To achieve equality and maka-break away tayo from the traditional gender norms. So, it raises the question, therefore, what are the oppressors to women? Ano ba yung view ng mga kababaihan as oppressors to them? And they say there are oppressive systems and structures. What are these structures? Diba? Kasi hindi pa pwedeng, basta women's rights, feminist na ako. I proudly say that I'm for the prevention na ma-harm ang mga babae. Pero that does not make me a feminist. Okay? We can all fight for women's rights without being a feminist. Because the Bible is claiming that we should walk in righteousness and justice. We regard each other with righteousness and justice. I will not harm a woman because that's unjust. That is not right. Napag-usapan natin yung talk ni Kuya Ellis before ng social justice, diba, ng human rights. Okay? Are women being regarded as second class? Are they being abused? Meron bang truth sa mga claims sa mga kababaihan na we are treated the wrong way? And so we must dismantle the system. And can I be a feminist and at the same time be a Christian? Okay? So these are questions that obviously we will come to learn about as we go to our discussion. Okay? Itong third question, by the way, are women being regarded as second class? Before, sabi ko nga kayo ng introduction natin, before, yes, pero right now, it's different na. Women na yung, it's women power now, diba? It's women empowerment. Mga lalaki na ngayon ang walang walang halaga, walang kahulugan, matutuusin. And women are no longer greatly abused, although there are still abuses. Pero men ngayon, sila na yung isa sa mga victims ng abuse. Marami akong alam na cases, na yung lalaki ang nambubugbog, yung babae ang nambubugbog. Okay? So, hindi na lang po siya yung parang isang side lang na yung lalaki ang nambubugbog sa babae. Hindi. Ngayon, iba na kwento. Iba na mga babae. Diba? So, we'll see. So, there is this thing called the waves of feminism. May different time periods kung saan na-develop itong movement ng feminism. So, first is the proto-feminism. Hindi siya talaga movement pa nung time. Okay? It's just the groundwork for the movement that will arise later on. Kumbaga, the women na nag-start nitong period na to, were just writing books, writing publications sa mga newspapers and magazines. Okay? Wala talagang movement na nag-exist. Pero it triggered a lot of minds. It allowed a lot of women to make a thought of what they should be, how they should be valued, and so on. So, they complained about gender inequality, na treated sila unevenly. Na yung mga lalaki, they get to have certain rights, sila wala silang rights. Kasi before, ang mga lalaki, sila lang yung able to study. Yung mga babae, hindi sila talaga encouraged to study. Okay? If you are wealthy, then you can afford a tutor, pwede kang mag-aral within the home. Okay? Pero for most cases, women are not encouraged to study. Okay? Aside from that, they're not allowed to have property. So kapag halimbawa, namatay yung asawa nila, wala na silang property. Aasa na lang sila dun sa mga kamag-anak nila to supply their needs para makasurvive sila. Okay? So there's inequality in terms of privileges and rights pagdating sa mga kababaihan. And there are also cases ng domestic abuse. Totoo yun. Totoo yun. And so they complained about these things in the publications, in the books that they wrote. Diba? And so that was the proto-feminist era. Wala pa yung label ng feminism back then. It's not yet a movement. Okay? Wala pa yung term na feminism. During this time, yung word na feminism was referring to the feminine qualities of a woman. Diba? So parang machismo, diba? Sa lalaki naman yun, pagiging macho. Yung feminism is yung pagiging feminine. Dati yun ang ibig sabihin ng feminism. But since the first wave, nung dumating na sa first wave, doon na na-develop yung term na feminism as a movement. It became a movement. Okay? Dito na officially, a lot of women rose for the rights ng mga kababaihan to vote, to have property, to have businesses, and to get education. May mali ba na ipaglaban ng mga kababaihan yung kanilang rights to vote? Masama bang bumoto ang babae? Is there a sin against that? Wala namang law against that, di ba? Property, masama ba magka-property ang babae? Not really. Business ownership? Not really. Education, masama bang mag-aral ang babae? Not really. Yung ipaglaban nila na bawal kaming ma-abuse, masama ba yon? Hindi rin. Tama lang yun, di ba? And so, may mali ba sa feminism? Well, that's still first wave pa lang tayo. First wave pa lang tayo. That's in the 1800s to 1920s. So kung ang alam nating kind of feminism is yun, well, behind na kayo. That's not the feminism that is around anymore. The feminism that is around today is this. Okay? Mamaya, we will see. Second wave, pinaglaban nila yung reproductive rights, sexual liberation. And dahil yung mga lalaki daw, they're able to do what they want, dapat kami din, we should be able to express ourselves and do what we want. If they can work, if they can afford prostitutes, dapat kami, we are able to become prostitutes and have sex workers' rights. Workplace equality. Okay, dito na nag-rise yung mga babae na magtatrabaho sila. Okay, noon kasi, actually, yung proto-feminism and first wave, a majority of them were Christians. It's a Christian idea. Sabi nga dito, ayan, it took the abolitionist movement's narrative to fight for women's rights. You know abolitionism? Abolitionism is the abolishment of slavery. Diba? Ano yung naging narrative nila to abolish slavery? It's this, that people are made in the image of God, even the slaves. So they have to be valued as people, not as animals, not as properties. They have to be treated as people. Okay? And so yung mga kababaihan nung time, na Kristiyano, took off the same narrative and said, bakit ang mga babae? They should be treated the same way. Diba? They should also be viewed as a person made in the image of God. And so they demanded for their rights and so on. So I would say na yung proto-feminist and yung first wave na yan is justifiably Christian ang mindset. However, the next ones that followed it, hindi. Okay, kaya may division dyan. Okay, so second wave, yun na, it's about personal expression. Diyan na nauso yung love is love. Yung time ng mga hippies, 1960s, 70s, di ba? Ito yon, sila yung mga main people na nagpalaganap ng second wave of feminism. We want to express our life the way we want to. Okay, so reproductive rights, hindi lang lalaki ang may karapatan to express his love through sex, even women. Bahala kaming mamili ilapa kung sino ang gusto namin at kung kanino at kung kailan, kung kani-kanino. Okay? Workplace equality, mga babae, they started working. Dati, nasa mga tahanan sila, they're concept of womanhood is to become nurturers of the home. Sa mga bata, sa yung gawaing bahay, and so on. Now, women are to work. Bakit yung mga lalaki lang daw ang nakaka-enjoy ng privilege to work outside? They have all the fun, and yet here we are na mga kababaihan, we're stuck at home. Kasama namin yung magugulong maliliit. Di ba? So they say, no, we should have equality there. And they wanted to dismantle the patriarchy. Again, it's now about, ito na yung time, na pumasok yung Marxist ideology from second wave, so on. Marxism means pantay-pantay daw tayong lahat. Walang poor, walang rich na class. Lahat ng tao pantay-pantay. And so, in order to achieve that, wala dapat authority above them. Okay? It removes yung concept ng authority sa Marxism na idea. Okay, so ang mga babae, wala dapat authority above them. And so, patriarchy is a trouble for women. Hindi dapat siya nag-exist. Yung lalaki as a head. Bawal dapat yon according sa mga feminists. Okay? So, bawal na sabihin ng lalaki, ikaw muna tumingin sa mga bata. Ako, magtatrabaho ko sa labas. Bawal yon. Kaso ayaw naman nila yung mga trabaho ng lalaki. Okay? Third wave. Ito na, medyo nag-worsen na. Third wave, they embrace intersectionality. Intersectionality means they view na, okay, hindi lang, yung first wave of feminism has its limits. Hindi nila na-account yung mga black women. Ayan. So, paano yung mga black women? Paano yung mga Latina na women? Paano yung mga women na feeling nila women sila, pero hindi talaga? Okay, intersectionality, dyan na nag-rise, LGBTQ rights, global feminism, pop culture activism. They wanted feminism to be involved in every other form of activism. Lahat ng may injustice silang nakikita, laban ng feminism yon. Kung against ka na yung sky is blue at ayaw mo yung sky na blue, pwede mo ipaglaban yon bilang feminist. Gusto mo maging pink yung sky? Karapatan ng kababaihan na maging pink yung sky. Pwede mong gawin yan. That's the feminist idea. Yes. You can watch videos all over the internet of feminists doing that. Fighting for whatever. That's feminism today. Fourth wave, nag-rise na because they want yung feminist idea na yung they can just complain about anything. Pinaglaban nila even yung mga transgender. Transgender is yung mga tao na nag-identify as a woman. Hindi naman talaga sila woman. Lalaki sila. Pero they feel like a woman, so they say, I am a woman too. And so sabi ng mga women na feminists, okay, you're a woman, sige. Paglalaban natin yung karapatan mo. You are included and welcome to the feminine community. And they also fight for against misogyny and body shaming. Kaya usong-uso na ngayon yung pag tinawag kang mataba, ay, body shaming yan. Nagbabody shame ka. Pag sinabing ang payat-payat mo, ay, nagbabody shame ka. Diba? Mga narrative na po ng feminism yan. Question, have you ever bought to these ideas? Na, ay, binabody shame ako nito. The world has become unsafe na for any commentary. People are now easily offended for whatever you say. Diba? Women, halimbawa, ayaw nila yung pronoun na nasabi mo. Diba? Ma-offend sila about it. No, I'm a Caesar. Hindi ako she, her. Anything. Wala nang sense even comedy nga. Ang hirap na mag-comedy ngayon eh. Yung mga komedyante. Kasi lahat na lang offendan ng mga tao. No? So that's how feminism evolved. So the rise of feminism is trying to gain just treatment for women. Yun yung first wave ng feminism. That they may be dignified, seen as of equal worth with men, worthy of rights to education, property, and vote. While the initial cause of the feminist movement was justifiably Christian in concept, it did not take long, sabi ko nga kanina, until Marxist ideology has seeped in. So the movement then got hijacked to be about the liberation ng mga women from oppressive systems. Ano daw yung oppressive systems? Men, oppressors yan. Mga lalaki, oppressors yan sa feminist. Marriage is an oppression kasi yung marriage parang may control yung asawa mo sa'yo. May limitation na nasiset sa'yo. Family life, yung mga bata, they are an oppression to feminists. That's why feminists are fighting for abortion. Kasi children are an oppression to women. Yung pagtatrabaho, yung mga gawaing bahay, ano yan? Oppression yan sa mga kababaihan. And structures such as patriarchy and the workplace na ayaw tumanggap ng babae. Halimbawa, minero, mining, yung business. Ay, noong time na yun, uso-uso yung mga mining. Sabi ng mga kababaihan, hindi, dapat kami rin may karapatan. O sige, magmina ka. Ayaw naman nila. No? So, there's oppression daw sa mga kababaihan. And, in fact, yung mga proto-feminists, yung mga first-wave feminists, in their books, they were pushing for men to be the head of the homes. Kasi Christian sila eh. Pero when the Marxist ideologies came in, it's no longer the same. So it got hijacked. Okay? It's no longer a Christian idea going around. It's no longer about following God in His righteousness and justice. No. It's about human justice, social justice. Okay. Now let's look at the feminist signs that we have around. So women rise against male violence daw. Against sa mga children. Say no to women and children abuse. Is that wrong? Huh? No. I can support that. Diba? I can support that. Real men don't use violence. Yes. Against women? Yes. Diba? So, sure. That's good. And how about the other feminist signs? Okay, they say, we stand for equality. Unang-una, what do you mean by equality? Equality ba, ang ibig mo bang sabihin sa equality is yung equal ng value, equal ng worth, equal ng regard, dignity, o walang authority sa'yo at equal tayo pareho, walang authority sa'yo? The problem with feminists is this, they don't understand the Bible. Ang man, hindi naman siya walang head eh. May head din yung man. Sino yung head ng man? Si Christ. So with yung man, kinuman din siya to submit under his head. Yung woman, kinuman din siya to submit under her head. Diba? And they view na parang, yung man, wala siyang authority above him. Kami dapat, wala rin kaming authority. And that's what they mean about equality. Okay? So hindi yun parang equal lang tayo ng worth. Hindi lang ganun yung ibig sabihin yan. It's walang authority above us. Equal tayong walang authority above us. You're free to do whatever you want. I'm free to do whatever I want. Okay? Kanya-kanyang direksyon. Kanya-kanyang buhay. Equal pay. Sabi ko nga kanina, a lot of the industries before were requiring strength. No? And then they say, dapat equal pay kami. Kaso yung mga babae, sila yung nasa office job. Yung mga lalaki, sila yung sumusugod. Sila yung mga soldiers, sila yung ano nung time. And so they demand equal pay. How can you pay equally yung isa, hazardous yung trabaho, yung isa hindi? Diba? So may imbalance din sa take nila ng basta dinedemand lang nila kasi nga babae kami. We have the right to demand. And so they demand dapat equal pay. Pero ngayon, halimbawa, pare-parehong online ang trabaho. Lalaki, babae. Pwede bang mas mataas yung sahod ng babae sa lalaki? Sure. Wala namang masama kasi doon eh. It's the thing is yung trabaho na ginagampanan. No, hindi mo dapat i-compare yung effort mo bilang babae sa effort ng lalaki na hazardous yung trabaho. Di ba? Yes, women can. Isa to sa tinawanan ko nung nakita ko. Anong ibig mo sabihin sa yes, women can? How is that an activism poster? Yes, women can what? Can give birth? Sure. You can eat, you can drink. Ano bang ibig mo sabihin sa women can? You can do whatever a man can do. Sige nga, be a father. Hindi kasi ganun yun eh. Di ba? Hindi porke, that sounds so clever. Ay parang tama na kagad siya. Cleverness does not make things right. Okay? Yes, women can do a lot of things men cannot. I cannot be a mother. Never can I ever kayang tapatan yung effort ng asawa ko being a mother. I cannot be a wife. I cannot do the sacrifices she does. Pero, I can be a father. I can be a husband. I can rejoice in what God has given me na calling. Diba? Abortion is healthcare, they say. Kasi mga feminists nga, diba? They're pro-abortion. Abortion daw is healthcare. Maingatan ang mga kalusugan ng mga kababaihan. Yun ang kagustuhan nila. They see na parasite yung baby and so dapat matanggal yon. So abortion is healthcare. If abortion is healthcare, then murder is a human right. What limits me now to kill you? Diba? Because abortion is murder. If abortion is murder, then murder is a healthcare. Murder is human right. Can I kill my dad? Can I kill anyone? That doesn't sound right. Diba? My body, my choice. Sure, your body, choice mo yan. Gusto mong pahaba ng buhok, ano ba ibig sabihin sa my body, my choice? Body mo yan. Gusto mong putulin na itong daliri mo dito. Walang law na nagpa-prohibit sa'yo putulin yung daliri mo. Pero that's dumb. That's stupid. Why would you do that? It's perfectly normal and healthy. Ba't mo puputulin yan? Di ba? Pero, my body, my choice, ang hindi kasi yun ang ibig sabihin nila. Ang ibig nila sabihin dyan, my body, my choice kung magpapa-abort ako. Now, the question is the baby in the womb your body? It's not your body. It's another person's body. You cannot violate it. Diba? The future is female. Sabi nila, oh, future is female. Hooray! The future is female. Well, the future is male too. Hindi kayo pwede mag-propagate without men. This is so dumb. Ano ba naman yung Diba? So this is what feminism has become. Yung dating pinaglalaban intellectually, pinaglalaban yung karapatan ng mga kababaihan, this is what it has become. A foolish movement. Support your sisters, sabi daw. Not just your sisters. Pag sinabing C-I-S-ters, yung sis doon is meaning straight. Pag straight ka, dapat daw masupport ka. Pero hindi lang daw ikaw. Dapat even yung mga sisters mo. Sisters, sino yung mga sisters mo na yun? Yung mga transgender claiming to be a woman, isupport mo rin daw sila. Kaya nga transgender yung flag eh. Diba? Support your sisters, hindi lang daw yung mga totoong babae, kundi even yung mga claiming to be babae. The worst way, and the most insulting thing for women is for a man to claim her rights. Don't you feel insulted, mga babae? Na yung lalaki kiniklaim yung rights nyo? Yung lalaki nagpapanggap bilang babae, he's claiming your rights. And the feminist movement says, support natin yan. Diba? Oh, they say, oh, God is a woman. Oh, God is a woman daw. Some say nga I met God and she is black. There are a lot of people who make such claims. Ang sagot ko nga doon is, how dare you disrespect God's preferred pronoun? Kasi sila yung mga nagpapalaganap ng pronoun eh. Well, di gamitin natin yung same argument sa kanila. Si God, pinili niyang pronoun is a he. Tapos hindi mo gagamitin yon. How dare you? Napaka-disrespectful of you naman, di ba? Mind your own uterus, sabi nila. Kung wala kang uterus, wala kang karapatan to say anything about women. Then bakit ka nagsasabi sa akin, lalaki ako eh? May-ari ka ba ng lalaki? Then don't impose anything sa akin. Wala naman akong uterus. Ang gusto ng mga kababaihan, wala akong uterus, hindi ko siya pakikialaman. Huwag mo rin ako pakialaman dapat. O, saan tayo pupulutin yan? As a culture, saan tayo pupulutin yan? Wala. Sa wala. Di ba? They say, yan, oppression yan, patriarchy. It's an oppressive system. So, dapat walang patriarchy. Matriarchy ang dapat isulong. Di ba pareho lang yon? Ikaw din yung above nun? Akala ko ba equality? Besides, the Bible is patriarchal ang structure niya. We have God the Father. Di ba? And inappoint niya yung man as the head of the wife. Basically, the home. So talagang patriarchal. Titingnan mo yung mga genealogy, son of, puro tatay. Ang tawag sa humankind, man. Because it's a masculine, ang Bible is using masculine language. It's a masculine book. It's a patriarchal book. And so the feminists say, oh, no more patriarchy, it's an oppressive system. Come on. And then they say, I hate men who are afraid of women's strength. Would it be valid then if I say I hate women who are afraid of men's strength? Akala ko ba equality? How come you have the right to say that, and then yung mga lalaki, walang karapatang sabihin na I also hate women who are afraid of men's strength? Diba? And the feminists are triggered when you say that. No? So, there's obviously a divide. No? Parang ang babae, they're contending against men, yung men, parang inabandon na lang nila yung post nila, and so you see yung effects nito sa church even today. Where are the men? Diba? Yung ngayong question natin madalas, where are the men? Kasi sa mga families ngayon, okay na lang sa kanila, yung babae, mas marami siyang alam mas matalino siya Siya na lang mag-attend ng church. Dito lang ako sa bahay. Dito sa mga barkada ko. Yung mga nakakaintindi ng level ng utak ko. There's a lot of people who make excuses like that. No? Because they bought into the feminist ideology. So we live in a very feministic culture. That's the reality. Okay? But that's not how God designed things to be. Okay? So in Genesis 1, sabi doon, verse 26, then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let him, them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, over livestock, earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image, in the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created him. Them. Okay. Kasi kiniklaim ng lalaki yung rights ng babae, baka pwede. Okay. And God blessed him. Them. And God said to him, them. Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens, over every living thing that moves on the earth, basically the whole creation. And God saw everything that he has made, and behold, it was very bad. Good. Okay. And there was evening and there was morning the sixth day. You see, God saw na yung togetherness ng man and ng woman is good. A society will not function, or a family will not function if yung man and yung woman are separated. Na magkaiba sila ng direction. It will not work. It can never work like that. Kaya nga sad, sa time natin ngayon, you will see broken families, a lot of broken families. Do you think functional yung mga families na gano'n? Yung mga bata, di sila naglo-long for a parent, a father? Of course they question. Where's my dad? Where's my mama? Di ba? Because God's design talaga for family is that the mother and the father will be together, working together for God's dominion. Sila ang means ni God for dominion over the earth. So the commander to be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion, that's called the dominion mandate. Okay, na ibinigay sa lalaki at sa babae. Okay, malinaw yun Ayan. So the dominion mandate was both given to man and woman to pursue together as one flesh. Genesis 2, when they got married, sabi sa kanila, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Ephesians 5:31-32, inulit-ulit yon. They shall become one flesh. This mystery, addition ni Paul, this mystery is profound. And I am saying that it refers to Christ and the church. Okay, so it refers daw kay Christ and the church. So hindi lang ito tungkol sa husband and wife, sa man and woman. It's about Christ and the church. So yung marriages natin, they're a reflection of Christ and the church. Sino ang pattern ng man? Si Christ. Sino ang pattern ng woman? The church. Kaya nga yung church nagsasubmit kay Christ eh. Kasi yung ganun din yung woman magsasubmit din sa husband. It's the pattern. Diba? Kung bakit yung church is ina-expect ng Panginoon na maging fruitful siya. Diba? It's because she is the glory of man, ang sabi ng Bible. The glory of the glory, basically. If man is the glory of God, then the woman is the glory of the glory. Diba? So, parang concentrated. Punong-puno siya ng fruits. Very fruitful, very beautiful, very pure. Yun ang tingin ng Bible sa babae, sa church. Okay? And that's the goal of God for His church. God assigned man to be the head of her wife, to be under his lordship. Yes, men have to be lords over their homes. Oops, ano ibig mong sabihin? Lord na parang, kayo ako masusunod dito. Yung ba ganun ba yung lordship? Hindi, kasi we did not learn Christ that way. Diba? We did not learn Christ to be domineering and dominating like that. May dominion, pero hindi yun ang dominion ni Christ. In fact, si Christ was sacrificial. He was giving. He died for His church. He gave everything for His church. So as men, yung mga lalaki, be like Christ. Stop whining. Stop complaining. Be like Christ. Si Christ, He did not whine. He did not complain on His way to the cross. Huwag din tayo mag-whine and complain in serving our families. Let's stop making excuses. With Jesus' obedience and rule as the man's pattern. Hindi lang ito yung lalaki na basta ibibigay ko lahat ng gusto mo buwan at between. Hindi lang ganun yon. Hindi lang puro mabulaklak na salita. Gawin mo. Gawin mo. Unahin mo yung pamilya mo before yourself. Ganito, sa pattern ng Panginoon, yung least, ang tingin niya sa sarili niya, yung nagbibigay ng lahat, siya yung greatest. Siya yung greatest sa mata ng Panginoon. And so, ganun din, di ba? Yung mga pastors, they have to give everything. And so, they're regarded highly. Because they're serving the church. Hindi lang sila nandito to make their egos bigger. Di ba? So, like Christ, sacrifice for the family. He is your pattern sa mga kalalakihan. To the glory of God the Father. This is holy and proper. Yung babae daw will be under His lordship. She will submit. It is holy and proper for a woman to submit. It is the way to godly dominion. Gusto niyo mag-join forces for the dominion mandate? Magsimula ka sa submission. Struggle yan sa mga babae. Submission. Diba? 1 Corinthians 11 verse 3, yung binasa natin kanina, but I want you to understand that the head of every man is Christ. The head of a wife is her husband, and the head of Christ is God. For man was not made from woman, but woman from man. Kinuha daw yung babae sa may man. Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. So this is the correct order of things. God the Father, and then si Christ, and then yung man, and then yung woman. May pattern ng submission doon. Si Christ, He submitted Himself sa Father, sa will ng Father. Diba? Yung man, magsasubmit din siya ng will niya kay Christ. Si Christ ang masusunod, hindi siya. So yung mga bossing na, kung yun ang tingin niyang lordship, hindi yun lordship. Abuse yun. Abuse of power yun. Okay? Hindi ganun ang lordship. Ang lordship ng man, ituturo niya sa lordship ni Christ yung family niya. Yung woman, mag-submit ka sa authority ni Christ. Yun ang command sa akin. I-guide ka doon. I-point ka doon. I-wash ka. I-sanctify ka towards that. So in terms of the dominion mandate, the woman is essential. The man cannot do the dominion mandate without the woman. Women are not an afterthought in God's creation. Hindi yung parang, ay, kalimutan ko. Diba? Hindi ganun si God. Nung ginawa niya yung creation, everything was good. And then, ay, walang babae yung... Hindi nagkamali si God. Talagang dinelay niya si Eve. Kasi kinuman niya muna si Adam to tend the garden. He let Adam observe. Na humanap siya ng kanyang helpmeet among the creation. Pero nakita ni Adam, walang fit na helpmeet for him. No one sa creation can understand him. No one in the creation has the same mind as him, same character as him, same vision, same mission as him. Wala. No other creature fits in that pattern. And so God let Adam learn that. Nag-obey siya sa Lord, nagtrabaho siya, tinend niya yung garden. And then as a reward, God has put him into a deep sleep and formed the woman from his rib. Eve was a reward to Adam. Kaya nga yung babae, dapat reward siya dun sa lalaking nagpupursigi. Di ba? Hindi siya yung parang, basta makukuha ko yung gusto ko, ako yung lalaki, makukuha ko yung gusto ko. I can have my way sa babae. Hindi ganon. As a reward for your obedience sa Lord, here's your wife. Ganon sana yung concept ng marriage eh. Kaya nga hinihingi yung kamay in marriage. Diba? Hinihingi. Kasi pakita mo muna sa amin na you're worthy. Ganun sana eh. Yung mga fathers noong time, diba? Yung mga traditional na tatay. Pakita mo muna sa amin. May pangbuhay ka sa anak ko na kaya mong magtrabaho, kaya mong gawin yung mga bagay-bagay na ganyan. And here's my daughter. Ganun sana. No? Kaso, hindi na ganun ngayon. Hindi na ganun ngayon. Na-skip na yung process na yun altogether. Nakita na lang si Eve as an object for sexual pleasure. Yung babae. Isn't that the meaning sa mga kababaihan? To value yourself like that? Value yourself the way God values you. You're precious. You're regarded as a reward to a man na responsible. A man who is faithful sa kanyang calling. Value yourself like that and don't give away yourself like a prostitute. Sorry. Pero that's how the Israelites have become. They worshipped other gods. They gave themselves and they valued themselves and worshipped other gods. Si God, nilaregard sila as His chosen people and yet naging adulterous ang Israel. She's not an afterthought in God's creation and the dominion mandate. She is the icing on top. She was given to Adam as a reward for his obedience to be a potent, significant other to make the dominion mandate possible. It's not possible for just Adam to be fruitful. It's not possible for Adam to be to subdue, to fill the earth. It's not. Ang goal talaga ni God is makita niya yung value ni Eve. Kaya dinelay si Eve. Nung nakita niyang gano'n, ano sabi ni Adam? Bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. He rejoiced. Tayo ba, pag nakikita natin yung asawa natin, do we rejoice? Or do we see our husbands, our wives as pain sa atin? As a suffering? As a curse? Ang mga lalaki, ang mga babae, we're not supposed to be contending against each other. We are supposed to be building our homes towards the godly dominion na sinet ni God for all mankind. Like Adam, Eve was also made in the image of God. So hindi undervalued si Eve. The Imago Dei is also in Eve. So therefore, the woman has the same worth, same dignity, same honor as men do. Equal lang tayo. Equal lang tayo. Pareho lang tayong creature eh. Pareho lang tayong creature. Hindi naman naging better yung lalaki dahil strong siya. Hindi naman ganun yun. Alam niyo kung bakit na-view yung mga lalaki na better dahil strong sila? Kasi abusive yung mga lalaki. They have more power. Yun ang tingin ng mga babae tuloy. So sa mga lalaki, we need to fix that. Bilang Kristiyano na rin lang tayo, we have to be the light and salt of this world. Women are very different compared to men. They mature faster. Talagang at an early age, makikita mo yung babae, mas nagiging responsible siya. They can think faster. They are graceful. They are tender. They can do more things at once. They're able to multitask better. Diba? And that's the total opposite of what men are. We mature slower. You see men na 30 years old na, very playful pa rin. Yeah. Men mature slower. They are single-minded. They are aggressive. Minsan to a point na talagang mapapansin mo, parang immature pa nga even yung aggressiveness sila, di nila makontrol. Rough, but they can be more focused and principled. Yung aggressiveness, hindi yun necessarily wrong. Diba? Men are supposed to be aggressive in protecting their families. Aggressive in working for their families. Aggressive in building their homes. Diba? In teaching your wife. Maging aggressive ka talaga. I-pour mo yung sarili mo sa tamang direksyon. Yun ang problem. Na-disorient yung heart kasi because of sin. Yung man, yung aggressiveness niya, napunta na sa mali-maling bagay. Yung passion niya, napunta na sa mga sino-sinong babae. The most manly thing a man can do is to be faithful to one wife. Be a strong man that way. As faithful as Christ is to His church. Be pure. God has given these seemingly opposing traits, not so the two sexes can fight or abuse each other. Instead, they are provided so both can have godly dominion together. May nagko-complement. Yung isa aggressive, yung isa humble and meek and timid. O di may nag-compliment. Di ba kayo nagtataka bakit opposite sa track? It's the way of God. In the strengths that they have given, together talaga dapat nag-work yung man and woman. Hindi sila against each other. Diba? Women are great multipliers. Diba? You give a woman yung binhi ng lalaki, ibibigay niya sa babae, magiging bata. Maraming bata. Diba? Magiging family. Bigyan mo yung babae ng pera, nagiging food. Mahirap kung yung babae, hindi nag-iisip ng food, di ba? Puro sarili niyang luho. Hindi yun godly woman. Materialistic yun. Okay. A household cannot exist without the woman. A man can build a house, but only a woman can turn it into a home. You know, itong church na to, it will not be as beautiful. Itong hall na to, kung halimbawa, yung mga curtains na yun, kung wala yung mga women. Mga lalaki, satisfied na sila. Yung kwarto nila, basta box lang na ganyan. May kama sila, may TV, okay na yun. Ang babae, hindi. Kailangan may bulaklak dito. Kailangan may paso dyan. It turns it into a home. Hindi siya magiging lively without the woman. That's the benefit of the woman sa may man. Diba? Adam alone is just Adam. But Adam with Eve becomes a human race. Diba? So am I a feminist now? Hindi po. I'm just a Christian. Hindi porke ina-uphold natin ang value ng mga kababaihan, automatic feminist ka. Hindi ganun yun. Hindi ganun yun. Ibang-iba na ang feminism ngayon. So it's a dangerous term to associate sa sarili mo bilang Christian. Woman is made from man and is made for man who is her head, not the other way around. God designed her to be the best help for the man, a help that is before him, or a helpmeet. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng help him, ng helpmeet. A help na nasa harapan ko, ready, sa harapan ko. The willing hand that he exactly needs and not his greatest rival. Okay? So women, take note. Hindi niyo po kaaway ang inyong asawa. You are fit for him. Husbands, regard your wives as the fit helpmeet for you. She is exactly who you need. Gusto ko itong sinabi ni G.K. Chesterton. If I set the sun beside the moon, if I set the land beside the sea, if I set the flower beside the fruit, if I set the town beside the country, and if I set the man beside the woman, I suppose some fool would think about one being better. They're not. Walang better sa man and woman. In fact, wala ngang good sa man and woman on their own. Unless si God ang magbigay ng meaning, ng order, ng purpose, sa atin, everything is useless. Even your manhood, even your womanhood, even your family. Sad. Pero that's the reality. Walang better sa atin. So is submission a curse? Let's just go through this quickly. Genesis 3, sabi doon, nung kinurse si Eve, your desire shall be contrary to your husband, and he shall rule over you. And the feminists say na, oh, you see, that's the curse over there, oh. That's the curse. Oh, yan daw yung curse. He shall rule over you. Hindi. Ang curse is this, oh, the desire shall be contrary to your husband. Ano yung solution ni God? Ang solution ni God, He shall rule over you. Salvation sa woman, yung rulership and headship ng man. Sa plano ni God, ganun talaga dapat nag-work ang families. Ang woman, magsasubmit siya sa authority ng man. Eh kuya, paano yun? Pag yung babae yun nagtatrabaho, yung lalaki hindi. Dapat ba mag-submit pa rin yung babae nagtatrabaho sa lalaki hindi nagtatrabaho? Yes! Hindi porke mas malaki sahod mo, siya na yung above. Hindi naman ganun yun. Ito yung pattern, no? A woman is called to submission to her man in marriage for her protection and salvation. For her covering. Yun kasi yun eh. Kung bakit nagsasubmit yung woman sa may man is because yung man ang magiging covering niya. One example is yung binigay na instructions sa Numbers na kung yung babae nag-utter siya ng vow na hindi in line with the man, yung man pwede niyang bawiin yung vow na yon. Protection ng babae yun. Nilagay yung lalaki doon for her protection, for her salvation against evil. Tapos tinitignan ng mga feminists na yung lalaki is a curse. Nilagay nga ng Diyos yun doon as a blessing. For her preservation, for her benefit, exactly like how the church is in Jesus Christ. The submission of the woman to her husband is a declaration of the gospel. So whenever a woman submits to her husband, you're proclaiming the gospel in your homes. Christ, our covenant head, yung pattern ng man, redeems us by dying for our sake, covers our sins, and secures us for our benefit. The church submits herself faithfully to Christ because she is redeemed by Him. She is His. And He is for her. That's the proclamation of the gospel. Christ is for us. Just like the man is for you, woman. What makes submission difficult is the very presence of sin. Theoretically, a woman should have no qualm submitting to a godly man. Diba? Kung godly yung man, wala sanang isyong mag-submit. Kaso meron pa rin eh. Diba? Yung mga babae, mahirap pa rin mag-submit. Kahit godly yung asawa mo, mahirap pa rin. Kasi may gusto ako eh. May gusto akong iba na ayaw niya. Kahit godly siya. But the sinful flesh, even the good and godly, can be distasteful. Because of the sinful flesh that we have. The sinful nature in man. Hence, it's only through regeneration that she will find joy in submission. If you are finding it difficult to submit, always, please pray to God, Lord, change my heart. Make me the woman you desire me to be submissive to my husband and to love my family. Husband, wag din kayong nagtitrigger. Don't lead your women and your children to anger and animosity. Instead, maging way kayo not as a stumbling block, but as a way to Christ. Let grace reign in your home. The Proverbs 31 illustrates for us what a godly woman is like. She is glorious. She is virtuous. Kaya nga siya tinawag na virtuous woman. And this is the picture of the church. This is the picture of the church. Ano? She is trustworthy. She is productive. She is good and submissive. She is a tradeswoman. Family-oriented. She is wise. She is strong and brave. She is skilled, generous, reliable, majestic, dignified, an educator. She is kind. She is self-controlled. She is tame. She is meek. She is a home manager, altruistic or unselfish, respected, praiseworthy. She fears the Lord. It's very important. She is blessed and she's rewarded. That's what the picture of a godly woman is. Ano? Sama doon yung value niya sa home. Titus 2, kung babasahin niyo yung Titus 2. Ang main na duty ng woman doon is to look after the home. So talagang part yun ng call, kung bakit very nurturing ang babae sa kanyang being. It's because yun talaga ang design ni God for women. To tend to the home, to look after the children. Bawal bang magtrabaho ang babae? No. Basta kaya niyong i-manage yun, na hindi mapapabayaan yung home. Sure. How will you do that? I don't know. Pag-usapan niyo ng asawa niyo. It's hard. It's hard na umalis ka sa home, tapos gagawin mo yung trabaho sa home. Paano yun? Pag-isipan niyo. Ang nakakalungkot kasi yung nag-resort na lang tayo na katulong na lang. Katulong na magtuturo sa mga bata, katulong na magdidisiplina sa mga bata. Lalaki yung mga bata sa dunong ng katulong. Sa wisdom, sa morality ng katulong. Wala na. Hindi na parent ang tawag doon sa magulang. Basta nagpapakain na lang siya, nagbibigay siya ng sustento. Ang hirap pag ganun. No? Kaya nga may division of labor na ginawa si God eh. Ideally, yung lalaki siya yung mag-work. Yung babae, ideally, siya yung mag-tend sa home. Because that's the way God will want na yung family to thrive. The calling of the woman is glorious towards godly dominion alongside the man. You may also think of the woman as the alter ego of the man. She is not the man, but in her are all the qualities and privileges of the man, conformed as one. If the man is able to do great things with his manliness, the woman should capitalize and build upon her womanliness to do great things for godly dominion. Walang nagpa-prohibit sa babae to do great things. Actually, be great. Be great. It's for the benefit of your home. It's for the benefit of the church. It's for the benefit of God's kingdom. Be great. Same vision, same mission, different duties, but the same glorious end. Papunta kayo sa isang end. Ang eyes ninyo nasa isang end. Magkaiba lang kayo ng ginagawa. Ganon dapat natin nakikita yun. Hindi yung parang kaaway. Hindi ganon. Together. As one. So in summary, what's wrong with feminism? Number one, it rejects man as the appointed head over the woman, therefore rejecting submission to his authority. Mali yun doon. It rejects complementarianism, which is the biblical view, na nagko-complement yung man sa woman. It rejects that view and embraces individualism. Bahala ako sa sarili ko. Ako. That's feminism for you. It views children, marriage, and family as oppressive systems or a limitation. It deludes women into believing that they can be more fulfilled by having a career elsewhere rather than to mainly find fulfillment in building and nurturing the home. Like as if yung being a mother is not a career. What is a career? Career is work. Yun lang naman ibig sabihin ng career. Diba? Is work. Hindi ba work yun? Tignan mo yung, i-look after mo yung family mo. Is that not work? It guises itself as a movement for social justice while in the same breath committing injustice against the home. Pinabayaan naman nila yung mga bata. For the sake na makuha nila yung gusto nila, makuha nila yung way nila na mag-explore sila all over the world and magtrabaho sila whatever they want and do whatever they want. So the Bible is right. Even the mercy of the wicked is cruel. They say, kawawa naman yung mga babae. Pero at the same time, they abandon the home. So, it's a difficult task. Kung gusto mo mang look after your home, tapos magtrabaho ka, sure, you can do that, but that's very difficult. One solution is online jobs. You can do that. Another is you have your own business to manage yung time mo well, without distancing yourself from the home. Pero yung mag-work ka outside sa isang employer, it's very difficult. And I understand that. It's very difficult. Walang prohibition doon, pero it's very difficult to function as a woman according sa calling mo. It rejects the order set by the wisdom of God, earning its wages in the poor character and discipline of the generations that have been influenced by it. Since the rise of feminism, naging bukang bibig na yung grabe na yung mga bata ngayon. At talagang grabe yung mga bata ngayon kasi walang magulang eh. Grabe talaga. Paano lalaki na matino yan? Walang nagdidisiplina sa kanila. Yung katulong ba, may authority siya na disiplinahin yung bata? Wala. Tapos magtataka sila, anong ginawa kong mali? Well, we'll see. A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. That's according to Proverbs 14, verse 1. So in conclusion, wife, submit to your husband. Love your femininity. Huwag niyong i-hate yung pagiging babae. Mahalin niyo na babae kayo. Magdiwang kayo that you have been called by God to be a woman. Be wise. Be productive. Be great. Nurture your home and let it be a place for you to manifest the gifts God has given you. Be fruitful, multiply, rule, and take dominion. Know that this very mission is meant to be fulfilled with the man. With the man. Find your fulfillment in God's will. He sets all in order and makes all things beautiful. A lot of women are having a difficult time finding fulfillment in their role as a wife and mother because they have a worldly definition of what a career is. Pero tayo, kinol tayo ni God differently with our careers. Husband, love your wife. Like Christ, the man must practice servant lordship. He is to exercise his authority in order to lead his family to obedience and faith as a response to the covenant of grace. Ngayong na-restore na tayo mga Christians, na-restore tayo ng Panginoon with a godly wisdom, a godly order, a godly meaning, a godly purpose. Now what? So yung mga men, mag-respond tayo sa covenant ng grace ng Panginoon by loving our wives. Serve your families. Sacrifice yourself for your families. Ihuli mo yung sarili mo, unahin mo sila. Man's call to dominion is not to be domineering nor dominating. It's a sacrificial yet joyful headship under Christ. So Hebrews 12 verse 3 says, "For the joy set before him," this is Christ, "he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." So si Christ, he did his work joyfully, without complaining, without sinning with his mouth. Hindi siya naging, alam mo yan, parang ayoko na lang, o mamaya na lang. Paano kaya kung pa-delay-delay si God, si Jesus sa cross? No? But he's not like that. He was joyful. He was joyful to do his work. So what is the essence of being a woman? We will end here. What is the essence ulit? To be a godly wife to her husband, who takes dominion with him and raise godly children. Hindi po fur kids. Alam niyo yung fur kids? Sa generation ngayon, may mga marriages na ayaw na magkaanak. Satisfied na sila with just having dogs and cats as their children. They call them fur kids. Okay? So, hindi po yun ang call sa atin ng Panginoon. Ang call sa atin ng Panginoon is to raise children, people. Raise people to bring many sons to glory, to the praise and glory of God. And if you are single, hindi nagbago yung demand sa inyo. Be holy, be pure, be preserved and prepared for the glorious mission of marriage and family life. Amen. Thank you.